Sir,
Yes.
sir, when will you share the notes of heterocyclic compounds, sir?
Today itself I will share.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Maybe after the class I will share.
Fine, sir.
Okay. And maybe, okay. Did you spoke with Kavya?
Yeah, sir. One of my friends spoke to her, but she told that she is not responsible for this. It seems we should contact some Palguni or something in our college. It seems, sir.
Who is that?
I
What?
don't know her name properly. Veena will tell you, sir,
Okay.
once she
Right.
joins class.
Okay. Okay. Right. How about going for open class? Is it open class is useful?
Which one, sir?
Open means without enrolled. If that is, if I am giving an option of open this one means without enrollment. If that is possible to enter you all through the link, I will go for that.
Once you try with that, sir, if it is fine.
Maybe tomorrow class I will schedule without enrollment. That means you may find in the open class. Tomorrow you check it and tell me.
Okay, sir.
Right.
Okay, sir.
Right. Okay then. So maybe today onwards we will discuss about the natural product chemistry, and the paper is 402. I think you are aware about the natural products. Okay, more particularly, I think vitamins, proteins, amino acids. Okay, all these things are natural products only. Naturally occurring one. The naturally occurring one may be from the animal source or maybe from the plant source. Okay. Maybe under this, I will take one chapter called terpenoids. Okay. Terpenoids. Okay. With this, I will go to the next slide. I will take a pointer. Right. Okay. So terpenoids. Okay. Introduction. More particularly, what we terpenoids means. Okay, these are a secondary metabolites. Okay. So terpenoids are secondary metabolites. Okay, then what are secondary metabolites? So are the compounds that are not directly involved in normal growth, reproduction of an organism is called secondary metabolites. Then what is terpenoids? Terpenoids are secondary metabolites synthesized. Terpenoids are secondary metabolites synthesized by plants, marine organisms, and fungi by the head to tail joining of isoprene units. So isoprene units means I will show you in a next slide. Okay, it is a five-membered carbon-containing molecule with double bonds. Okay, I will show you that. Overall, what you need to remember that terpenoids are the secondary metabolites synthesized by plants, marine organisms, and fungi, and these are joined. Okay, how they joined? Isoprene units are joined by head to tail joining of isoprene units. Also, these terpenoids also found to occur in rocks, okay, fossils, and animal kingdom. So with this, I will go to the next slide. Okay, I will go to the next slide. Now it will come. Right. So if we are looking into the application, so what are the applications of terpenoids? So linalool, this is one terpenoids, and it is found in coriander oil. I think coriander leaf. Okay, from the coriander leaf, one can get the coriander oil. The fragrance of coriander leaves is nothing but a linalool. Okay, and linalool plus phenyl ethyl alcohol is a perfumery. Similarly, citral. Okay, citral is also a starting material for the preparation of vitamin A. Okay, and how the citral is obtained? Citral is obtained from the lemongrass oil. It is used as a mosquito repellent. Okay, that means if you are using a content of citral, so more particularly, all these things are required in ppm level. Okay, not for the bulk. Okay, ppm itself they are active. Okay, ppm itself act as a perfumery, ppm itself act as a mosquito repellent. Okay, it is all, of course, for the preparation of vitamin it's required bulk quantity. That is the reason where there is a need of an organic chemist who can synthesize citral in a laboratory. And one more thing, there is a difference between the natural product isolation and then the synthesis. So I think maybe one word I will say at this moment. Approximately 11% of the total drugs available in the pharmacy are belongs to natural source. Okay, and the 11% is not possible to replace with the synthetic one. That is the speciality about the natural product. And almost all, okay, whatever the drugs given to the pediatric, no, those are belongs to the natural product itself. Then citral, it is one isolated from the lemongrass oil. It is used as a mosquito repellent. It is also used as a starting material for the vitamin A synthesis. Menthol, okay, menthol, it is present in mint oil. Okay, and one more thing, this is the artemisinin. Okay, this is what is one important anti-malarial drug. It's analogs and this one is isolated from the herb from China. Okay, and it is isolated in the 1972 itself, but half Nobel Prize is awarded in the 2015 to this artemisinin analog, which was isolated from the small herb. Okay. Then, and both are okay. Menthol is optically active compound, and artemisinin both are used in pharma industry. And then farnesol, okay, farnesol and juvabuone, okay, both are used as a juvenile hormone. Okay, juvenile hormone is responsible for the growth in juvenile stage. Juvenile stage means youngster stage. Then gibberellic acid and brassinolodides are used as a plant growth stimulators. Okay, this is isolated from the resin. Resin means the gummy part of the plant. Okay, right. So gibberellic acid and brassinolodides are used as a plant growth stimulators. And then solanin and azadirachtin are the insect antipedant. So I think you are aware about the azadirachtin. Azadirachtin means it is the compound isolated from the neem. Okay, and this is widely used in the agricultural. Even it is also found in toothpaste, but more particularly, of course, we can see the many soaps also. The content of neem content soaps also we may found many nowadays in a market. And one more important thing about azadirachtin, it is used as a biopesticide. Okay, I think you are aware about the pesticide and biopesticide. So whatever the pesticides or insecticides are from the organic reason. So even since there is an organic reason, there will be a question of biodegradability. So, but whereas the compound isolated from the neem is a biodegradable, that means it won't harm the environment. It will degrade itself. Okay. So that is the reason azadirachtin is one biopesticide, and it is a antipedant, insect antipedant. So that is the reason once we are using as a azadirachtin during the crop production stage, so we will get more yield of the crop. Okay, it is proved. Okay, it is actually where in my during my PhD program, I have isolated this azadirachtin compound from the neem seed kernel. Okay, and so both these are growth inhibitors. And one more compound, Taxol. Okay, this is one very big natural product, and it is isolated very long back itself. And this one is anti-cancer. It is used as a anti-cancer. So these are the few examples of terpenoids and their application. So because of this application, we should look into the terpenoids, and most of these terpenoids. Okay, next I will go for a classification so that you will come to know that. And before going to the classification, we should look into the history. Okay, so that I will explain in the next slide. So before going to the history, let's look into the how the one can isolate the terpenoids. Okay, so terpenoids, it is possible to isolate it from the distillation method. It is also possible to isolate from the solvent extraction method. The solvent may be a water, methanol, hexane, propane, chloroform, benzene, whatever it is. But it is possible to extract constituents present in a plant source or animal source. So normally distillation method is used to isolate the volatiles. I think you know that the difference between the volatile and non-volatile. So volatile means the one which is having less boiling point. Okay, non-volatile means the one which is having more boiling point. So non-volatile belongs to the perfumery industries. Okay, volatile belongs to the perfumery industries. Non-volatile belongs to the other application other than the perfumery. Okay, so if you want to isolate, anyway, we will also do few experiment in the laboratory. It's called paper 406, I think. That is 406 is the isolation of more particularly a few experiments, caffeine from leaves and lycopene from tomato. Okay, so and casein from milk. Okay, and many are there, and we will also about we can perform and how one can extract the constituent present in a natural source, that we will learn in the laboratory. But as far as theory is concerned, so normally fresh leaf or fresh plant parts is taken in a round neck carbide, and it is fixed with the distillation operators, and one can heat the contents by using a steam or heat. Steam is the more preferable one. So when you are heating it, along with the solvent, we should take water only when it comes to the fresh plant, fresh part of the freshly cut part of the plant material or herb. Okay, so then one should use the water itself. So water and the volatile present in the plants, both the thing will come out in a receiver. So in that receiver, you have to separate it. Okay, it will be like oil and water. So when you are using a separating funnel, you can separate it. That will have a volatiles. Okay, so if you want to isolate a non-volatile, then what you need to do, you need to what is that? One should take a plant part. The plant part may be a root or stem or leaf or flower, whatever it is, and then it is okay, dried in shadow light. That means the sunlight should not fall on it, in such a way that you have to dry the plant parts. After drying, you have to pulverize it. That means you need to you add into a mixie, make it into a powder. After the pulverization, you can go for a solvent extraction. So there is one operator called Soxhlet operators. So using that, you can isolate the constituent present in a plant parts. And here the one main drawback of this natural product isolation is, suppose if you want to isolate 1 gram of natural product, you may require nearly 1 kg or 2 kg of the plant product. Suppose if you want to prepare or isolate 100 gram, then you may require more than 10 kg or 20 kg or 100 kg, something like that. So that is the disadvantages, but the advantage is more. Okay, that as I mentioned previously, 11% of the drugs in pharma industry belongs to the natural product. So that is the big advantage. And even today, people are not able to replace the natural product with a synthetic one. So that is another big advantage. Okay. Right. So with this, I will go to the next slide. So next slide. Now it will come. So next slide is about the how this particular natural product is arrived. So the thermal decomposition of almost all terpenes, the thermal decomposition of almost all terpenes gives isoprene. Isoprene means this is the one. A 5-membered ring having 2 double bonds. Okay, this is the isoprene in it. And this is the head portion. Head portion, how the head portion? The branched one is head portion, and this one is the tail portion. So this isoprene units is joined in a head to tail manner. So tail can make a bond with the head. Okay, head can make a bond with the tail. So like this, it will join and it will form a terpenoid. So this was first found by the scientist called Valach in 1887. Okay. So how he found? He found that the thermal decomposition of almost all terpenoids gives isoprene as the products, and this led to the suggestion that the skeleton structure of naturally occurring terpenoids can be built up of isoprene units. What it means? It means that naturally occurring terpenoids are made up of isoprene units. And this is known as the isoprene rule. What is isoprene rule? Isoprene rule means all naturally occurring terpenoids are made up of isoprene units, is called isoprene rule. And there is one more scientist called Ingold in 1925. He found that isoprene units, okay, that means all naturally occurring isoprene, all naturally occurring terpenoids, so they will have a isoprene units in such a manner that they joined in a head to tail fashion. Head to tail joining fashion of isoprene units in naturally occurring terpenoids is called special isoprene rule, and this was given by scientist called Ingold. So this is about the history. And so there are 2 questions you can expect here. What is isoprene rule? What is special isoprene rule? Special isoprene rule means head to tail joining of isoprene units in a naturally occurring terpenoid is called special isoprene rule. Then what is isoprene rule? Isoprene rule means all naturally occurring terpenoids on heating gives isoprene. Okay, is a that is what as isoprene rule. So with this, I will go to the next slide. So next slide, we need to know what is essential oil. Okay, so there is a you can expect one question on essential oil. What is essential oil? So then you have to write that the odoriferous. Odoriferous means fragrance one. The 4 odoriferous oils which are obtained by distillation. Odoriferous oils which are obtained by the distillation from various plant components. From various plant components. The plant component may be a root or stem or flower or maybe leaf. Okay. Is known as essential oil. Normally, essential oil means it is obtained from the freshly cut plant parts. Okay, that is the thing you need to remember. Then the oils are usually a complex mixture. So essential oils are usually a complex mixture. So that are rich in terpenoids. Essential oil serve as the raw material for multi-purpose. Okay, this essential may be used as a antibacterial, maybe in the pharma industry and maybe in the perfumery industry, or maybe used in the soaps. Okay, multi-purpose. It's a multi-purpose one. So then this is about the essential oil. Then let's look into the classification. So 2 terpenoids are joined. Then it's called monoterpenes. Monoterpenes means C10. Okay, 10 carbon containing compounds are called monoterpenes. More particularly, naturally occurring compound. And 15 carbon containing ones are sesquiterpenes. Sesquiterpene means C10 to C15 carbon atom will be present in that and are found in essential oils. So this monoterpene and sesquiterpenes are the found in essential oil. Essential oil means volatile in nature, and both the things are isolated by steam distillation. Okay, this is about monoterpene and sesquiterpene. So let's go for a next slide. So next slide. So C20. So C20 diterpenes. Okay, if there is a 20 carbon atom in a terpene, then it's called diterpenes. If there is a 30 carbon atoms in a terpene, is called triterpenes. Okay, both C20 and C30 are non-volatile one. Okay, that means diterpenoids onwards, they are non-volatiles. Non-volatile means it won't evaporate easily, okay, at room temperature, and are isolated from the gums. Okay, these non-volatile ones are diterpenes and triterpenes are isolated from the gums and resins of the tree. Okay, then uh, uh, 40 carbon containing terpenes. Okay, for example, carotenoids. Where you can find carotenoids, it is present in carrot. Okay, so that is a C40 containing one. Then what is the general formula? C5H8 is the C5H8 is the general formula of terpene isoprene. If that is in N times, okay, so that means it's a polyterpenes. Okay, for example, rubber. Okay, rubber is a terpene only. Gutta percha. Okay, what it means? It means that terpenoids nothing but a isoprenoids. Okay, because terpenoids are formed by the combination of isoprene units. So that is the reason terpenoids are nothing but a isoprenoids. Okay. So this is about introduction. So maybe now onwards, I will take up a few examples. What and all the examples we are discussing. What and all the examples we are discussing in this chapter. I will go to the next slide. Next slide. Now it will come. Next slide. So here I am taking a monoterpenoids. So monoterpenoids is nothing but a combination of two isoprene units. You can observe that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this is one isoprene unit and this one is another isoprene units. If there is a combination of two isoprene units, then such compounds are called monoterpenoids. So sometimes they will ask you, they will give you one terpenoid. Okay, so maybe terpenoid like this. Then what they will do, they will ask you to identify how many isoprene units are present in this. So then what you need to do, you need to account, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For every 5 carbon atom, one isoprene unit, you mark it like this. So you can continue, and based on that, you can take decision whether it is a monoterpenoid or diterpenoid or sesquiterpenoid or tetraterpenoid or polyterpenoid. Okay. So this is the example I am taking. This is one isoprene units, means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up to this carbon, it's one isoprene unit. And from this carbon, it's another isoprene units. Just by joining these two, a monoterpenoid is obtained. Okay, this is about 2-methyl. If you want to name this compound, 2-methyl 6-methylene. Okay, 2,7 octadiene. Okay. So here, when you are naming here, it started from this carbon 1, 2. So second position, methyl group. And then sixth position, this group is called methylene. This group is called methylene means it indicates that there is a double bond. So then these two double bonds is accounted 2,7 octadiene. This is the IUPAC name of this one. Okay, then of course, this is one terpenoid. This also a terpenoid, more particularly monoterpenoid. And the name of this compound is myrcene. Okay, Myrcene. So what you need to do, you need to try to differentiate. Okay, so what is the structural difference between this and this? So that's what you need to identify. So here the same molecular formula, but there will be a different in position of double bond. Okay, here it will have double bond here, but whereas in this it's a different position. So myrcene is having the structure like this. Ocimene will have a structure like this. And citronellal, okay, this is the citronellal. Okay, it is having only one double bond. And of course, it is having a hydroxy group. This is the citronellal. So with this, I will go to the next slide. Geraniol. Okay, so I think you know that the rose. Okay, rose may be a red color one or yellow color one, whatever it is. It contains geraniol. Okay, and one more thing, the fragrance of rose is because of geraniol. It's also having a wide application. I will tell you later, but now you can see the structure of the geraniol, what is the responsible for the fragrance of rose. And here you should make the difference between these two. Okay, this is the geraniol, and you know that this is a double bond, and this double bond is attached to two methyl group. Because of A and A dash, A and A dash is the same, then this double bond does not exhibit geometrical isomerism, whereas this one exhibit a geometrical isomerism. So the priority group is on this side, and between these two, this is the priority group. That means the priority groups are in opposite side. That is the reason it's called trans. Okay, and yes, so because of this is a trans one, and you can observe that this is a cis one. The priority is priority group is this side, the priority group is this side. So only the difference between the trans and cis. So trans one is called geraniol, cis one is called nerol. And geraniol first time is isolated from rose oil, and nerol is first time is isolated from neroli oil. And you can look into these two one. Here alcohol is the one functional group, but here CHO aldehyde is the another functional group. And here also the difference, this is not a geometrical exhibiting double bond, but this one is a geometrical isomer exhibiting one, and cis one is called beta citral, and what is called this one, trans one is called alpha citral. Okay, and both are isolated from the lemongrass oil. Okay, so we'll go to the next one. Linalool. Okay, linalool is the one, it is present in coriander oil. Okay, maybe coriander oil may be obtained from the coriander leaf. Then the fragrance of coriander leaf is because of the presence of linalool. So that means we are consuming this one because the coriander leaves are used in food preparation. So then this is the structure of linalool. and you know that there is a hydroxy group here. There is a double bond here. Okay, there is one more double bond here, right? And you can mark it that this carbon will be a chiral carbon, and it is a optically active compound. And limonene, okay, limonene, okay, limonene. Limonene is a monoterpenoid, and it is found in citrus fruits. Okay, citrus fruits means maybe a orange or lemon, or maybe a yes, okay. Overall, many are there. Even grapes also comes under citrus fruits only. Okay, right. So in citrus fruits, limonene is there. This is the one, and this one. Okay, this group is called isopropyl group. Okay, if this isopropyl group is attached to toluene, without this isopropyl group is called toluene. Okay. This isopropyl group, if this isopropyl group is attached to a toluene, then it's called paracymene. So this paracymene is isolated from the oils of cumene. Okay, I think